The six of them, you can see how they all play their part in bringing something balanced and rounded where everybody knows what to do and everybody goes into the same direction.
Hello and welcome back. I'm delighted to introduce to you today Ursula Dauenhauer.
Hello, John. Thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Delight to have you here. Now, Ursula, have a look on her on LinkedIn. She's got a great background. She's brilliant in the whole world of B2B sales, B2B leadership, and it's a real treat to have you on board here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Let's start by talking about sales strategy at an enterprise level and what's important about a sales strategy. And then in subsequent interviews, maybe we'll drill down on some of those areas.
Would love to, because there's so much noise in the market right now as the market goes through so many changes about how to go about strategy, especially when it comes to higher value B2B sales.
Which is where both of us are from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, I have an old saying that goes, sales is dead, long live sales, because we're always hearing that B2B salespeople will be replaced by digital marketing and so forth, but we see that it becomes more and more important to get a strategy right for your direct engagement with the customer. It becomes even more important than ever before.
The world is changing, and I agree with that, and we need to be cognizant of what those changes mean. And it's changing, I think, the way we sell to some extent, and maybe that's a subject for a later interview. But you're right, we need to be cognizant of what those changes mean,
yes.
And then how do we apply a strategy as those changes hit us? And that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. And look, over the 16 years I've been working with probably more than 100 medium-sized businesses now, there was really a pattern emerging over time. And I've been sort of distilling that into a 6-step method that really helps business to think through all these different steps, bring them all together, balance them out, because together they bring about the right energy and sales momentum. So when you are really aligned with the market, things start to happen.
So you call them 6 steps, 6?
Yes, so there are 6 building blocks, if you like. The first one would have to be the sales model. So you could refer to that as your go-to-market model. And it's the first thing to look at. How do you reach your customers? Is the direct sales force still the right thing to do? Do you need to go through channel? Do you need to go through partners? How is the market playing and how do you position in that?
And maybe there's a combination of using artificial intelligence and other stuff to add value through a sales process. There's all sorts of different ways of looking at the way we sell these days, which a lot of companies aren't doing. They're just throwing salespeople in the field and expecting results.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the really first big step is, and that can be a little bit challenging because it might force you to look at the market differently and how you play in that, is the big picture. Where am I? Where do I need to go and how do I get there?
Step 2?
Step 2 would be thinking about your sales revenue plan. Now, most businesses would think at the top line and say, I would like to grow my business by, 2-3 million. I want to take it to this next level. What they rarely do is take this number and really break it down and think about where will that revenue come from? We see more and more revenue coming from recurring revenue streams. So all of a sudden customer retention has become more important than previously. So really thinking through where will the revenue come from,
and that'll have impact
and how will it all
on the sales model too, won't it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly
Number
right.
3?
So the next one, when you know where the revenue comes from, now you're in a position to actually put a structure around that. Yeah. Now you can align your right talent with the right marketplace. You can think about how to best structure a sales team so that people have achievable, clear targets, there is no conflict, and everybody knows what they do when they get up in the morning.
Clarity about roles.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So once we've got the structure sorted, then we can really look at the sales process. And that is the heartbeat.
That's the heartbeat. I'm in agreement there. It's obviously not the first thing you think about. So from your point of view, what does that mean in thinking about your sales process? What sort of thing encompass in that thinking?
Look, that's probably my pet topic, my really big passion horse, because it's so multi-layered. Because we need to understand what our steps in the sales process are. We then need to understand what activities we take in the sales process. We need to align it with the buyer journey. We need to help our salespeople with the right content and artifacts and the right coaching behind it. Now, in reality, we don't have one sales process, John, do we? We treat our existing customers differently to new business customers, don't we?
Yeah.
It's
well, we can, and sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't.
And sometimes we don't. So it's really a moment to look at how do we really sell, and how do we play to our strengths?
And how do we help the customer through the buying journey? What's the process we need that aligns with what they're doing?
Yeah, and there is obviously a whole sales enablement piece attached to that. But that is really the heartbeat, because that's when the rubber hits the road and sales engages with the customer. And that needs to be right.
I'm with you on that one totally. And number 5?
Leads, marketing campaigns. How will marketing align with sales? Because one comes from Venus, the other one comes from Mars, don't they?
Well, yes, and marketing and sales alignment is so critical in this.
Yes.
And I do talk a lot about the buying journey and what are the different roles of different people in the selling organisation through that buying journey. And by saying different people, I'm not talking about different salespeople. I'm talking about different people, product people, marketing people, etc. All have a role through a buying journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. And particularly today in a different world of annuity streams, where we not only win a customer but have to keep the customers, I would always say there are 4 core campaigns you need to think about. You need to have something for acquiring customers. You need to have a campaign to onboard them and make them really feel good about the decision to go with you. You need to retain them. And then you need to think about how you can grow the value for the customer through cross and upsell. How can you consistently add value? When you've got those 4 campaigns, I think you're in pretty good shape.
And what's the last one? That's number 6 in of the strategy foundations.
The most pivotal role in a business, which is the sales management function. When it comes to performance management.
What's Tony Hughes say? Sales management's the weakest chain and the weakest link in the revenue chain.
And I totally agree. And look, I see it in medium-sized businesses where sometimes the owner or the CEO has to wear that hat as well, and it's really, really hard. It's really hard. But unless you have the scope to really dedicate time for your sales team, and I would say you need at least 2 to 3 hours a week per salesperson to really help them with the pipeline, to do proper forecasting so there are no nasty surprises at the end of the month.
And lots of coaching.
And lots of coaching in the field as well as in the office.
Okay, so they're the 6 that you need as your foundation elements for a good sales strategy that everybody out there should be considering for their business.
Yeah, and when you look at all the 6 of them, you can see how they all play their part in bringing something balanced and rounded where everybody knows what to do and everybody goes into the same direction.
I like them. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And let's get together over a number of other topics and let's drill down in some of those and some other topics that I know you're expert at.
Would love to. Thank you, John.
Hope you got some value out of that, and let's get together with Ursula again soon.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks.